In the past few decades, China has emerged as one of the most capable infrastructure builders in the world. From executing monumental domestic projects once deemed impossible to completing complex international contracts in difficult environments, China's infrastructure strategy has evolved into a distinctive model. It balances speed with long-term planning, cost-effectiveness with innovation, and national interest with international cooperation. As many countries struggle with aging infrastructure, constrained budgets, and political indecision, China's experience offers a valuable case study in what can be achieved with focused coordination and strategic vision. Two of the country's most ambitious domestic projects, the Three Gorges Dam and the Qinghai-Tibet Railway, have become internationally recognized milestones in civil engineering. The Three Gorges Dam, completed over the course of several decades, is the world's largest hydroelectric power station by installed capacity. It spans the Yangtze River in Hubei province and serves multiple purposes: electricity generation, flood control, and navigation improvement. The sheer scale of the project reflects its engineering complexity. Approximately 28 million cubic meters of concrete were used in its construction, comparable to building a 10-kilometer-long mountain 200 meters high. However, the real challenge was not just the scale but the site itself. The dam had to be anchored within a river that carries nearly 1 trillion cubic meters of water each year, with seasonal peak flows exceeding 70,000 cubic meters per second. Given these extreme hydrological conditions, any design failure could have catastrophic consequences downstream, potentially affecting millions of people. A collapse would have unleashed destruction on a scale equivalent to that of multiple large-scale disasters combined. To mitigate this risk, China mobilized thousands of engineers, researchers, and technicians from across the country. Nearly 2 decades of coordinated planning and innovation led to a structure that today plays a vital role in China's national grid and water management systems. One of the most innovative components of the dam is its ship lift system. Prior to the dam's construction, the Yangtze River was a key commercial waterway. Maintaining its navigability was therefore essential. However, with the dam's reservoir reaching a height of 300 meters, roughly equivalent to a 100-story skyscraper, traditional ship locks were insufficient. In response, Chinese engineers designed a vertical ship elevator capable of lifting vessels across the height difference using carefully balanced water chambers and mechanical gates. This solution not only preserved commercial shipping routes but also showcased a rare combination of engineering creativity and practical necessity. The Qinghai-Tibet Railway, another signature project, illustrates a different set of capabilities: endurance, resilience, and adaptability to hostile environments. Stretching from Xining in Qinghai province to Lesai in Tibet, the railway traverses over 1,900 kilometers, with over half of the route located at altitudes above 4,000 meters. The line climbs to a peak elevation of more than 5,000 meters at the Tangula Pass, where oxygen levels drop to as little as half of what they are at sea level. In addition to high altitude, engineers contended with widespread permafrost, extreme cold, and an ecologically fragile environment. Temperatures along the route can fall to -40 degrees Celsius, and storms, ranging from snow to sand, frequently disrupt construction schedules. Moreover, the ground beneath large portions of the railway is in a continuous freeze-thaw cycle, which can destabilize traditional foundations. Overcoming these challenges required innovative engineering solutions, including elevated tracks, sunshade covers to reduce thawing, and temperature-regulating insulation materials. Bridges and tunnels were adapted to minimize thermal expansion and ensure long-term structural integrity. More than 100 river crossings were included, and careful attention was paid to minimizing ecological disruption. In total, 33 dedicated animal migration passages were constructed to accommodate species such as the endangered Tibetan antelope. These wildlife corridors, including the widely noted Hubei Bridge, have helped the project achieve a rare degree of coexistence between development and conservation. Together, the Three Gorges Dam and the Qinghai-Tibet Railway illustrate the two pillars of China's infrastructure strategy: innovation under pressure and problem-solving at scale. They also help prepare the country for a much larger ambition: becoming a global player in international infrastructure development. One of the most illustrative international cases was the East-West Highway in Algeria. Proposed in the early 2000s, the project aimed to construct a 500-kilometer expressway connecting the eastern and western borders of the country. Algeria, which is the largest nation in Africa by land area, possesses abundant natural resources and growth potential. Yet its domestic development has long been constrained by limited transport infrastructure. The highway was designed to change that by linking ports, cities, and production zones across the country. However, the proposed route crosses extremely difficult terrain. Over 80% of Algeria is covered by desert, and the rest features plateaus, steep valleys, and soft soils prone to erosion. Daytime temperatures can soar high enough to cause heat stroke in unprotected workers, while nighttime temperatures plummet to freezing. Powerful sandstorms pose continuous threats to both workers and equipment. Despite Algeria offering favorable contract terms, few Western companies expressed serious interest. Many viewed the project as too difficult and financially risky. Eventually, China and Japan agreed to divide the work. Japan was assigned the eastern section, nearly 400 kilometers in length, while China took on the remaining central and western segments. The outcome surprised many. China's construction teams completed their section by the year 2010 and delivered the central segment 2 years later. Meanwhile, the Japanese-led section suffered repeated delays and was eventually abandoned. Algeria then turned to China to finish the remaining 84 kilometers, considered the most technically challenging part. Chinese teams completed the work, solidifying their reputation as reliable international partners capable of delivering under pressure. This project marked a turning point. China's infrastructure services, once viewed with skepticism abroad, began to attract wider interest. Since then, Chinese companies have been involved in dozens of major projects across Africa, Asia, Europe, and Latin America. Examples include the China-Laos Railway, which transformed Laos from a landlocked nation into a land-linked regional hub. In East Africa, the Mombasa-Nairobi Railway provided Kenya with its first major rail infrastructure in a century, connecting ports with inland economic centers. In Europe, the completion of the Peljasac Bridge in Croatia was especially symbolic. It marked China's entry into the European Union's infrastructure market and was funded partially by European sources. Several factors help explain China's ability to deliver in ways others sometimes cannot. First is the scale and maturity of its domestic engineering ecosystem. China has invested heavily in higher education and vocational training over the past 3 decades. Fields such as civil engineering, transportation, and materials science are well developed, with tens of thousands of new graduates entering the workforce each year. Second is China's ability to finance large projects without requiring immediate returns. Many state-owned firms can operate on longer investment horizons, enabling them to undertake projects that private contractors in other countries might avoid. This flexibility makes Chinese firms attractive partners, especially in developing countries with limited financial resources. Third is the integration of modern management and digital technologies into project oversight. Real-time monitoring of quality, scheduling, and safety helps keep even complex projects on track. Decision-making structures tend to be centralized, allowing faster responses to unexpected developments on the ground. Lastly, Chinese infrastructure firms have shown a willingness to learn, adapt, and refine their methods based on each new experience. From frozen highlands to tropical forests, they have demonstrated an ability to design for, and operate within, widely varying conditions. That said, challenges remain. The future of infrastructure will be shaped by new demands: smart cities, low-carbon systems, digital integration, and resilience to climate change. Technologies like artificial intelligence, 5G connectivity, and green construction will redefine the meaning of infrastructure in the coming decades. China's infrastructure industry must continue evolving to meet these challenges. Nevertheless, the record so far is hard to overlook. Whether through managing complexity, absorbing financial risk, or adapting to local needs, China has established itself as a serious force in 21st century infrastructure. As more nations look to invest in long-term growth, Chinese capabilities, both at home and abroad, will likely remain part of the global conversation for years to come.